Good day, folks. Welcome to 406 Regen. I'm here at the factory. I'm waiting for my sales rep to get off the phone, so I was just looking at their wall of books they have here. Of course, most of us know Gday and Joel Salton's Salad Bar Beef. There's a few on here that would be quite interesting reads. I know that this guy here uses equipment instead of livestock. A mixture of both, but he's heavy on the equipment side to get it started. Sorry about my voice today. Got a little picked up a bug, so I'm in here wearing a mask, so I don't want to give it to nobody. Like I said, just waiting for him to get off the phone. And we'll do a tour here of the Timeless Vent Systems shop.
So this is the recycled material that we get from the company. This is pelletized. Okay. And of course it's got the UV inhibitor in it, because this is all recycled from window frames and door frames.
Sure.
So we get them in these big bats, these boxes like this, tractor trailer load at a time. And they're sucked up in the vacuum. It's sucked up to the top, and then it's gravity fed down into the extruder itself that's heated up. And you see our temperatures running around the 320, 325, 330, something like that. And
So not really all that hot, really.
well, it's not, but yeah, it's enough to burn you. You can't. We'll look at it the way where it comes out of the die, and it's rubbery. You can touch it real easy, but you can't grab a hold of it. It'll burn, you know. And then this box here, this is our cap stock. So this is the white color, so that all the posts look uniform, the same color.
Okay.
Okay. So we would have, you know, brown and black as well, but this is the white. And then it's vacuumed up, and it goes into this Millicron machine right here. So it looks like they're running, that's a 1-inch die, so they're probably running what we call P-posts, or maybe some droppers, okay? So if I touch this, see how rubbery it is?
Yeah.
And see the uniform white, so the capstock is coming out of this machine, and then that's the last thing that goes on the T-post as it comes out. Then it's running in a water bath. This is to cool it down and to make it hard. So right here, it's already hard. It's still warm, but it's hard, okay? And I don't know, there's 20, 30 feet of water bath that it has to run through to get that temperature down, and it comes on the other side. Now this machine is pushing, and then we have a puller down there that's pulling. So they're all in sequence.
Because this hasn't been cut yet, right? It's just one long...
Yeah, just one long stick.
Yeah.
That's right. So it's coming out here. Basically, that's pretty cool. There may be, I can't feel it, but maybe the inner core, especially if you get on a bigger post, the inner core would still be a little bit warm.
Yeah, that one there's cold.
So have to kind of be careful, especially when we don't want to put it in like a punch machine too early, because we have pressure on it, and it may bend this rib right here.
Right.
So have to be careful on that. And with the puller as well. So you have the puller, and then now we're coming to the saw right here. Everything's programmed in as far as the length. So there you had your first cut right there. And it's being pushed out, and then onto the conveyor belt. And then onto the pad there.
That's handy.
So don't know, these are probably, I think these are 4 foot. Do we do a 4 foot and a 40-inch P-post? I believe that's right. Or maybe that might be the droppers that we do, a 4 foot and 40-inch.
Maybe.
But I think these are 4 foot for P-post.
How much production do you get out of one line for the day?
On these posts, I don't know. Let's say on our mid-size post, the 1 3/4 inch, I think they're running somewhere around 1,250 posts a day. You know, over on, this is line 2. Over on line 1, we can walk over there. It looks like that's probably 1 3/4 inch. I believe. Let's see. Yeah, 1 3/4 inch.
Okay.
So the next process after these vats are filled up, like what we got right here, this is in line to be run through the punch machine. So there'll be one individual that will stand here and take each one individually, run it in this machine, then they punch it. It'll punch the holes and it'll cut the bevel end on the bottom.
Okay.
And put the stamp on it with our 800 number and the size of the post.
Okay.
So all that is programmed in there as well.
Sure.
So that's the punch machine right there. This is the laser that, well, not a laser. It's the ink that puts the label.
Sure.
Puts the label on the machine. I mean, on the post.
Right.
And then as they slide in the next post, it'll push that one out onto the table right here. So if we look at this right here, we're looking at a 5.5 foot post by 1.5 inches.
Right. And all punched
And then here's
out.
the end that's beveled.
Okay. And what do you do with the broken ones? You just grind them back up and...
Yeah, this material can actually be ground up as much as 7 times and not lose its, properties.
Okay.
And sometimes we maybe there might have been too much pressure on the punch, or something wasn't exactly set right. When they change different sizes, then they've got to go through a process of changing, the machine itself and get all the pressure and everything exactly right.
Sure.
Then they'll take each one of these, and this is a jig right here, and they lay them down. Now, I don't do this, so, but they'll lay them down a certain way to where you have 5 posts. And that's how they come in, is 5 bundles, 5 to a bundle, like that. And then they'll wrap them.
Right, they overextend each side, so then just...
Yeah, wrap them, and then they'll end up over here on this pallet.
Sure.
And then for storage on our racks over in the other part of the warehouse, the 1.5 inch, there'll be 60 posts to a row, and it'll be 4 tall, so there's 240 posts to a pallet.
Okay.
And that's just for storage over here. Now we can put more for shipping, halfway across the United States, we can put 400 on that. Well, let's say 420. Was that right? 6 times let's see, 6, 6, 7 is 40, 20. I say 420 posts.
Okay.
Try to do it in, in rows of 60. So when they strap it and wrap it and everything, it's nice and tight. We don't have a hump in or something like that.
Right.
Or if we're going to lay something on top. Then the only other thing is this is a grinder right here. So this is where they will take, when they do first runs in the morning, they're getting things heated up. They end up with stuff like this.
Sure.
And so none of it goes to waste. It's all going to be reground. And this is the grinding machine right here. And they'll cut it up into certain lengths, run it through the grinding machine, and then over here, this is how it's ground up.
Okay.
And then run it back through the extruders.
Yeah, these are definitely bigger pellets, if you will.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. And so, I'm sure there's adjustments they have to make. Now, I don't know nothing about these machines, but there's adjustments they'll have to make as far as heat and speed and all that to get this product to turn out the same way.
Sure. Okay.
And we have, over here we have some jigs that are used to build our end braces.
Yeah.
So this metal one right here, this is what we use to build our A-frames.
Uh-huh.
So they can put them all in there and they can strap them down. And then the table is actually used for our classic and our supers, which is the one that's got the horizontal brace in it and the 2 vertical posts.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. So
just your standard H brace.
That's a jig for that.
Okay. Of course, this is the size that's for the corners.
Yeah. So when they get these pallets filled up, like we saw, then they'll bring them around and they'll take them into the warehouse. And they account for them in there, and then they're set up on the racks, and then they're ready to be distributed out and to fill orders.
Sure.
Yeah. You want to walk
Sure.
into there? Okay. This is line 3 right now. We're just now getting it started. They already have made a test run on it, but still maybe doing some minor, fixes on it. But it ought to be in production, I guess, later on this summer.
Sure.
Okay. So as we come in this part of the warehouse, to our right, everything up on those racks is actually discount posts. So they're the posts that came out that, are usable posts, but there's a blemish on them.
Yeah.
They're not what I would call a number 1 post. Okay. And so we discount those 20%. All right. And all of them will have an orange tag on them. So all these are discounts. And if you look, I mean, and everything on our farm campus here, we have a 52-acre farm campus. Every fence on this farm campus, whether it's a T-post, H-post, or brace, is a discount post. And
yes,
a lot of times they're hard to tell, but you can look down the side and see there's a little wave in them.
Yeah, this one here you can tell.
Yeah. But
that's why you just put that one at the back 40.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we have, people come and look at our fence here, and I'll take them out and show them the fence, and I'll tell them, I said, this is all discount posts. They said, well, what's wrong with it? Well, it's just an aesthetic thing somewhere. It might be like how you, if you paint a wall, you put too much paint on it, you get a little drip or something like that. Sometimes you'll see something like that. You might see a little wave, on the edge of the post. Maybe a little streak down the side, inside the middle, just something that say, hey, that's not a number 1 post. And we want to, You know, we want to send out number one post.
Right.
Now, to our left over here, our first 2 racks are empty, and those are our A-frames. So we're actually out of A-frames, which they're going to be building tomorrow for orders. And then we have our H post right here, 7 and 8 foot, and some 6 footers. And then the next rack is all of our 2 and 1/8 post. Okay, so that's how these are divided out. And then we go down here to the left, and that is our 1 3/4 post, all the way down that rack in different lengths. And you can look, every pallet is the same, is even. Each one of these have 250 posts on them. They're the 1 3/4, whereas the 1 1/2, like I told you earlier, has 240. Okay. So that evens everything out. And they can stack them, you know, stack them on the rack and get them ready for orders.
Right.
Then on the right side here is all of our 1 1/2 post. Then down here we have what you saw up there. Now these are the P posts here, and I think that's what you saw on that first line.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the same height. So these are P posts, and that's actually the top right there.
Sure.
And then we have the droppers, which droppers are routed so that you can set it on your fence. If you're going to put a long span, if you're going to, you know, I like to use these if I'm down in the floodplain. I'm not a big advocate of putting them on a boundary line. I like that boundary line to be more secure, you know. But these are, you know, the purpose of these is just to keep your wire spacing the same. So if you have a long span, maybe your posts are 100 feet apart, put 3 of these in between that 100-foot span.
Yeah, that's a long span.
That's a long span, absolutely. So, and you know, in a floodplain, when there's a possibility of, you know, the flood and, you know, the creek or river, you know, coming out and covering the fence up, then there's less there to actually catch debris and things like that. And it's a lot easier to put it back up.
Yeah.
These do have to be tied with a piece of wire on your top and bottom wire so it doesn't slide.
Sure.
Because the wind will blow it around if you don't secure them on there.
Okay. And you guys are pretty much a one-stop shop, or you try to be. So I see you got plenty of high tensile wire there.
Plenty of wire, yep.
So.
And we'll walk around the other side over here, and you can see a whole row of our rack of our accessories that we have. Yeah, like you say, it's a one-stop shop, and that's one thing it's nice to be able to supply everything that you need to actually put in. Now that's your hot coat wire.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so this is a white hot coat, and then we have the black hot coat, and that's usually in a fence designed for a horse, for horses.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then we have a whole line here from you know, the wire cutters and your tools and things of that nature. Those are the Nip-X, your crimp tools, and then we get into what I like is like split bolts when you're connecting 2 wires together. Like if you're jumping from 1, 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 wires to get them hot. That's one option right there. Versus you can use the open end, that's the wrong one, open end taps right here.
Oh, okay.
You can use this, and this is a sleeve right here, so I'm not sure where where that goes. Those are quick ends. There are several people that like that, that you can run this cone shape in the hole of your H-post, run your wire in there, and it just runs one way.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And that's kind of nice now to get this plate, this flat plate right here, flush up against the inside of that web, we'll call it, inside that H-post. You actually need to take a drill bit and drill that hole out a little bit bigger so it sits there flush in there. The other option that most people prefer is the gripples, because you can do so much more with them. You know, besides running, you know, connecting two wires together if you have a break or something like that. But at the end of where you terminate on an end brace, run the wire through there, same as a quick end. But the nice part about it is you can run that wire all the way through and around and connect it to another fence, or if you want to tie into it with another wire, you can do that.
Okay.
So it's has a couple more.
I haven't got to mess with those yet.
Yeah. Oh, those are cool. Those are cool. Yeah, we got the pigtails. We did have a few things for wooden posts. This is the wood post pin lock insulators. So if some people is using wood corners and braces, then you're going to need these, and then you're also going to need the very first one down here is the end strain insulators, and I like to refer to them as a bullnose insulator. But this is what it looks like, and that's what you would use to terminate at a wooden post at an end brace or a corner if you want to terminate. And then instead of putting a tube and going around the post where there's a really good chance you're going to get bleed through and you're going to lose some voltage on there, this is away from your wooden post and you're not going to have that issue.
Okay.
Yep. We do carry, of course, little things like cutoff switches, and these are jumper leads, your ground rod clamps.
Sure.
You carry all those, and your ground rods, of course. Here's your Zammer handle. It has the hot and the cold end, which is a really nice function. Very popular on the end of any of these reels. The Speedrite comes with the gate handle already on it.
Okay.
This is an Econo reel, so you can add that. It holds the same amount of poly braid, poly wire. You know, each of these spools will hold the same amount of each of those different types of wires. Then we have the Terragate reels that some of them, they come preloaded. This is a stainless steel with the blue on it. Okay. That's stainless steel, and the red signified this is mixed metal.
So there's some copper in there.
Right. There's 3 strands of tin copper, and then this is just a bare reel. These all come with a hot and cold handle too. That it's a new design that Terragate has come up with, and people seem to really like them. And I think that they drag through the grass and everything, you know, easier than, you know, I mean, of course, than say a handle like this, you know.
Yeah.
And this is not a handle that you would put on the end of a reel, but, you know, there's other uses for that. Then we got our spring gates. You know, we have the 14-foot and the 24-foot spring gate. And then we do use the Cyclops and the Speedrite. Yep. Are our 2 Energizers.
Now we're to the expensive part of the fence.
Yep. But the most important, and it's really important to size them properly. You know, a lot of people might think that, you know, if I buy one, if I need a 1 joule, but if I buy a 8 joule or a 12 joule, you know, my fence is going to be a lot hotter. Well, it depends on the length of your fence, you know, and what type of wire you're going to have. And, you know, if you're going to have poly wire, poly braid, or if you're going to have netting, you know, all of that creates resistance. And so you have to consider all that when you're coming up with the joule size. And joule size is all you go by. Don't go by acres. You know, like one will do, this one will do, 500 acres or 50 acres. Don't ever size an Energizer by that. Do it by joules and by linear feet of your fence, and then what type of wire that you're using.
Okay.
Yeah, that's really important, because really you want to get. I think we all try to, when we size these, is to come up with, you end up with about, from 7,000 to 9,000 volts on your fence.
Yeah.
And that's just a good number to stick around.
Okay.
Overhead there, we've got 3 different types of netting. They all come in 164-foot lengths.
Okay.
It takes, I think, a minimum 0.3, but I like to use 0.5 joules per netting. So, if you have a mile of fence and you've got 2 nettings out there for poultry and everything, you've got to increase your joules to make sure that your fence is good and hot.
Sure. And back to the T-posts, they're all part of programs, the government programs accept them as fence posts that can be bought.
As a matter of fact, I talked to a gentleman with NRCS in Montana today.
Okay.
He is the Grazeland Management Specialist, and I can't remember his name right off, but before I talked to him, I verified through the field office technical guide that the PVC posts are approved for the EQIP program.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. Hopefully he's in my county so he can make an order.
Well, he's not in your county. He's to the west of you, but he did tell me that in Billings, Montana, in September, is going to be a big show, a grazing land show.
Oh.
So might be something.
I'll have to look into that.
Yeah, look into. And
so, because we just went to an event.
Yeah.
Down in Billings, so hopefully he's seen it there.
Oh, well, yeah. Then our 2 most popular poly braid, we have the mixed metal, and then we have the stainless steel. Okay. Now we do have some. This is poly braid. This is poly wire. So wire, when it's put together, it's twisted. Okay. And there's a lot of times that people like to wire. I mean, and what I try to do is say, hey, if you've got a clean field, no weeds, no briars, no woody stuff, then that works really good. Okay. But if you want something that's really tough and it's not going to break, then the poly braid is the way to go. And it's really tough, and it'll go through the briars and the woody stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's pretty much it, other than, of course, we have the horse safe braid, and I don't have a roll of it out, but this is a nitro braid. Let's see here.
So, and then you got spinning jennies.
Yeah.
Ground rods. Like you said, a one-stop shop. Try to make everything easy as possible.
Exactly.
So, anyway, well, we appreciate the tour, and thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.